Hello. Tommy Robinson is in trouble for contempt of court. His first indictment for the offence was when he reported outside a court in Canterbury, when he committed the contemptible act of breaking a law which exists in no other civilised country of the world, to do with filming a selfie on court grounds. The law is there and he did breach it, so it's contempt. Mind you, we didn't have much mention of the contempt the accused and later the convicted rapists had for their teenage victims. As an example, one of them was branded with a hot iron, which is what is done to slaves. And notice I'm using the present tense here, because if anyone thinks that what was going on is not slavery in Oldham and Telford and Oxford and Middlesbrough and Aylesbury and Birmingham and Sheffield and Bradford and Bristol and Blackburn and Rochdale and is still going on in other towns, then you don't know much about contempt, mate. And I'm talking about the contempt such people as join these gangs have for British culture, British people, especially our little girls, and British values, what we have left of them. But then, why shouldn't they have contempt? Because the police had contempt as well, referring to these rape girls as prostitutes, or even worse, as slags, an expression of contempt which is used for girls who don't even have the business acumen to charge for their services. They had contempt for their parents too, who were arrested for complaining or for trying to rescue their daughters, while the social services had just the same contempt, not only for the girls, but for the culture out of which they came. The culture out of which came their oppressors being not at all contemptible. And then there was the press and the media, who have shown their contempt for the people to whom they were supposed to be reporting the truth by feeding us endless stories about how Donald Trump's cynical observations about women losing their self-respect when seduced by money, while there were girls right here under their noses being raped, not seduced, and not by money, but by threats and drugs. But that's contempt for you. After all, the hoi polloi are really deserving of nothing but contempt, because they can't speak like what we can. And darling, how can you have anything other than contempt for someone who eats chips? And when Robinson was charged a second time with contempt, although he wasn't invited to plead his case in court, the judge showed contempt, not just for Robinson, but for the law. But then so did the Daily Mail and the Independent and the Guardian, because this was a working class oik who really, really, really needed to be put back into his contemptible place. And of course, his toughing out the attempted death sentence meted out to him by a government and a prison warden, all of whom obviously have a deep contempt for due process and for legal procedure and for duty of care. Well, that made Robinson even more contemptible, didn't it? Because what is more contemptible than a mouthy proletarian who won't lie down and die like he's supposed to? And now we have the next stage, where a judge takes a look at the stack of contempt which has been shown to this man and to the victims whose plight he has championed, and to his supporters all over the world, and far more than that, to the law of the land. And he has decided that this is one contempt too far, and has now passed this contemptible example of political evil on to the Attorney General. That is, back to the government, which has shown nothing but contempt for the voters ever since it got elected. The odd thing is that Tommy Robinson and the people who respect him are just about the only ones who don't have contempt for Britain and our ordinary working people, and indeed for the ordinary working people all over the world who are watching this because they know it will be their turn next if this culture of contempt is not reversed. And my question is, which way round is it? Is Robinson being charged with contempt of court? Or has the media, the government and the police authorities been caught in contempt? I'm very grateful for financial contributions, but if you don't want to give money, you can still help a lot by sharing this and other videos I've made. Also, remember to check your subscription from time to time, as sometimes subscriptions get erased for one reason or another. Till next time.